Okay, so you guys have the power to unmute yourselves, but like when I'm talking or whatever, just leave yourself muted, and then that way there's no background noise. Hey, sweetie. But that way there's no background noise and we can hear all the things. But there are 52 of you guys on, and I am just so freaking excited that all of you guys showed up with me on this lovely Wednesday night. And I am just so happy for you guys. So what I want you guys to do, it really gives me a lot of energy when I see you guys like interacting with me, chatting with me in the chat box and asking questions. Otherwise, it's just super boring and I feel like I'm teaching on Zoom. And if you are a teacher, you know the struggle is real with teaching on Zoom right now. It's just a whole nother thing. So in the chat box, I want you to chat. I want you to shout yourself out if you promoted last month, or just something that you are proud of yourself for last month and for this month. Also, if you are a brand new consultant, please type that in the chat box. Tell us what day you joined. I want to know all the different types of people that are on here. Yes, so Anna, I think that's Anna Watson. I hate how sometimes it doesn't say like, or both Annas. Oh no, maybe both Annas are on here. Okay, so just Anna is Anna Alvera. And then I think if Anna Watson types, it's gonna say her last name. Okay, so people are saying they're paid at title already, joined May 1st, got your first new teamie. Brand new, just started the 5th. Hey, Kelsey. Linda Jacobs, I've been seeing your name, Boo Thang. 6 new teammates. I see you. I see you. You're going to have to share a training with us on what you are doing. Angelica said that she's going to promote. Yes, all these people, over 1,000 PRV, just joined Sunday, have a new team member, rejoined. Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Anna. Yes, Elizabeth McRae, I see you with Star, promoted to Star Consultant. Goodness gracious. Okay, awesome. It gives me full body chills. And if you watch the, or if you listen to the Crime Junkie podcast, that's exactly where I get it from. And if you don't like true crime, that's just what I do. But I am so, so excited that all of you guys decided to hop on, and I have taken a little bit of notes. I actually plan to write out a whole lot more and share them with you guys, but my in-laws came over this afternoon and I didn't get any of the things done that I needed to. So I want you guys to know that this is a open forum, so you can ask anything that you want. If I'm talking and I don't see it, or like if I don't address it, one of the other directors that are on here, if you would just like pause me or say something to me or whatever, and you can make sure that I get to those questions as we get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today, since we do have so many newbies, is business hours and chain of command. Now, I know that sounds like super scary, and it's not anything that's meant to be super scary, but it's just meant for everyone to be able to work their own personal business effectively and be respectful of other people's time. Just because a lot of us still work full-time jobs, a lot of us have kids at home, I'm teaching at home, and we just can't be readily available to everyone all the time. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to get back to you. That doesn't mean that we're being ugly, but I want you guys to realize that even if you just joined today, or if you joined a year ago, if you really want to grow a big business, eventually you're going to have so many people on your team that if you don't have business hours yet, you're going to have them, or you will never work your own business. Because as of right now, our group has grown so much, and we are at like 837 people. Whoop, whoop, praise to y'all. And I can't have 837 people messaging me at all hours of the day, or I would never be able to work my business, right? And for me, I am very much of a people pleaser, and I don't like to disappoint people. And when I see people asking me questions or whatever, I really want to answer right away. And I just want you guys to know that It's not your leader or your sponsor being ugly. It's just that we have to put those protocols in place. Okay. So also just know that I am, and you know what? I really didn't even introduce myself. My name is Chastity Robinson, and I am your Superstar Director if you did not already know me, especially those of you who just joined. So we are doing this as like a larger group. So you may have joined and you see someone else's name on your workstation as your director. So I am like their upline. Okay. So you can always email me, but what I do want you guys to realize is the chain of command. What that means is if you are looking for answers, the first place you should always go is your workstation. Trying to find your answers there on your workstation is always your go-to. And then you go to your team page, then you go to your sponsor, and then you reach out to your director. And I can promise you that if you follow that chain of command and your director doesn't know the answer, your director will get with me and we will try and figure it out. Because guys, there's questions that I get asked every day that I don't know the answer to, and that's okay. I want you guys to realize that it is okay to not know everything. There's people that ask me questions all the time that I don't know. And so we just have to figure out that information. Okay. Like I said, the workstation is a very great place to find information. Also, I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this. Hold on, I'm gonna turn my fan on because it is like hot in here. I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this because this feature is sort of like hidden on the workstation, but there is a way that you can chat support. And chatting support is a really great way. They're very, very helpful, and they can answer a lot of your questions as well. So just make sure that you're utilizing those resources. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so like I said, I just wanted you guys to kind of know that just because it can get really overwhelming. And then also just pay attention to how your sponsor likes to communicate with you, because your sponsor is your go-to person. Whoever you joined under is that person that is supposed to train you and take care of you. So just make sure that that is the person that you're reaching out to. And my people know that I'm not going to communicate with you over Facebook Messenger. I will literally read it and not respond, because that's not how I like to be communicated with. And I save Facebook Messenger for my customers and people that I'm building relationships with that might not have access to my phone number, okay, or my email. So chain of command. Now, this month, guys, number one is lit. Like, tell me in the chat box, what are you the most excited about this month? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Blair, can you hear my children screaming in the background? Sorry, guys, it's real life. She's apparently not happy that she's getting a bath. Yeah, so someone said that they had a really good experience with chat. Guys, our consultant support, I've met a lot of them. They work so, so hard. So yes, Father's Day, PRV and the new Teamy, so many collections, all the things. Yeah, so I know that Anna Alvera, for instance, like summer is her jam. And like she is all about the summer scents, and I am too. Like I love it. And the Father's Day collection is coming out. That is always a really good seller as well. Something else that I wanted to mention to you guys is, I believe Monday's the 18th. Yeah. On Monday, when the Father's Day collection comes out, the Bring Back My Bar sampler comes out as well. So what that Bring Back My Bar sampler is, for those of you who are brand new, is it is our opportunity to buy one bar of each of the Bring Back My Bar scents. Okay, so I always get it, because if your customers can't smell things, then it's going to be really, really hard for them to want to buy them. And I'm going to be honest, guys, this Bring Back My Bar is probably the best lineup that has been around in a very long time. There are some that I am disappointed didn't make it, but I have so many that are so, so good. So if you haven't been around, I promise you, you're going to love it. Something that a lot of people do is they will get together with a couple of other consultants and they will do a bring back my bar split. So what they do is they figure out there's 8 cubes, and so it's themselves and 7 other consultants, and they split it, and then each person gets 1 cube of each bar. And then that way you have that to sample or do whatever. If you guys want to work that out throughout your team pages, you can absolutely do that. Obviously, only one person is going to get the PRV, but if you can't afford to buy the Bring Back My Bar sampler, I would suggest at least try to do that. And then just remember, don't like start promoting Bring Back My Bar right away, except for to your VIPs, because we want to finish this month strong. We know we have Star Wars, we have Father's Day, we've got all the things going on. So keep Bring Back My Bar in your back pocket, and I just let my VIPs know about that. Okay, so I saw that there were lots and lots and lots of new, also something else I want to talk about. SFR 2020. So SFR is going to be virtual. Registration opens tomorrow. I have no knowledge of any of the things that are going to be released tomorrow. They haven't told us anything more than what you guys know. So I don't know exactly how much it's going to be, but I believe it's going to be very, very affordable. And I would suggest that every single person, like every person needs to be on there, because virtually, I mean, it's just amazing. So someone asked, what is SFR? That is a great question, because I just started talking about it before you guys even realized what it was. So SFR is something called Cincy Family Reunion, and it is literally the biggest Cincy party of the entire year. And I know that there's lots of other leaders on here that have went to Cincy Family Reunion, and it has 110% changed their life and their business, and they never want to miss one. And so I'm honestly really, really heartbroken that it's not going to be in person this year, but Cincy is very much wanting to keep us safe, and they're taking all of those precautions. So we are going to be doing them virtually. So basically what it is for you newbies is it is literally going to be slam packed full of training and full of motivational speakers. We get sneak peeks into all of the new products that are usually coming in the fall. Well, they will be coming in the fall, but when we actually go there, we get to see all of the products, we get to smell them. The vibe there is just so, so amazing. And I know that they have been already working really, really hard behind the scenes to make this virtual one the best ever. So I'm really not sure exactly how all of that's going to play out. I'm going to find out with you guys. But I would definitely suggest registering. And then once I have the information tomorrow, once we kind of like know what's going on, I can do a live on my team page and let you guys know what I think about that. Someone asked if SFR is like Cincy World Tour. Yes, but on crack and like times 1,000. World Tour is like a joke compared to Reunion. Like, not like that sounds bad, but I don't mean it that way. But like World Tour is so just nothing compares to Reunion. And it makes me emotional just even talking about it every year, because Reunion is what has made me stay in this business. And I know that I wouldn't be here if I didn't go to my first one. And if they weren't doing it virtually, I would be telling every single one of y'all that you need to be there. And it's just, we find out about our fall incentive. You get the training from the best of the best, and it's just amazing. So whenever we find out when the next one is or where the next one is next year, we always start making a plan, and you room together and you fly together and you do all the things, and you're exhausted when you get done, but you leave like your cup is filled and you know that like you're in the right place. So anyway, I'm not going to go and get emotional on everybody. So Victoria, Okay, I was very confused because I saw my student's name on Zoom and then I realized, oh, it's her mom. So I was very confused for a second because it was like Victoria Alvera wants to do a home thing. Yeah, so I'm actually thinking about what we can do to like have a group together to do this virtually and like actually be together with some community while we're doing it. But I have to wait and see like what is going on with the way that they're going to do it before I can make some plans. But definitely just know that that's in the works. And I definitely don't want anybody sitting at home alone watching it. We're going to get together. Okay. All right. So, brand new consultants. I am so, so, so excited that you guys have tuned in because I see some of my newbies, I see some other newbies, and I just want you guys to know that it shows a lot that you're showing up on this Zoom meeting. Okay, so just know that you're doing the things and showing up is exactly what is going to get you where you need to be. So, new consultants, this is what I want you guys to know. You don't need to know everything. And you shouldn't know everything. And I know that right now, May is lit with all the new people joining, all the new things that are coming out every week. And it is very, very easy to get super overwhelmed with all of the information that is thrown at you at one time. But what I want you guys to realize is just do the things that are important and don't worry about all of the extra information that you see thrown at you. Okay, so I want you to start with your first things first checklist. That is the very first thing that you should be doing is getting onto your workstation, going through your first things first checklist and walking through those things because that is going to help you tremendously. Now, the next thing that I'm going to tell you to do after you start walking through your workstation and your first things first checklist, if you joined on the $20 kit, you did not get a consultant hand guide or a product training guide. So it's very important that you go to your workstation and you download those things and you read them. Or you can buy them through Cincy Success, which I think they're $2 or $3, but it's going to take it too long to get here. I want you to go through and read those things. If you want a hard copy to look at later, absolutely do that. But the product training guide and stuff is something that I keep right here next to my desk. I get one every single season. Like I said, I think it's $2. And this right here is going to have so many questions or so many answers that you're going to be able to find that you may not know. Because even like with me, when I'm going to go through and I'm going to go do a video on the mini fan diffusers, I literally opened up this book and it says, okay, features and benefits. It even gives you sales tips. So when someone asks you, what's the difference between Cincy Go and Cincy Go Solid, it's literally laid out for you right here. So you can pull that up and look at it side by side. So the product training guide is something that is so, so, so important. If you joined on one of the larger kits, you're going to get one in your kit, but everybody has access to those things on the workstation. So many of those things are important. Now, if you just joined, your goal needs to be to hit shooting star. And everything else, like all of the extra things, can wait. Because the most important thing that you can do when you first join is launch your business. Okay? So many people are still quarantined and stuck at home and furloughed, and you need to do an online launch. Right now, launching in home is very difficult because people still aren't getting together. I know the stay-at-home order has been lifted or whatever, but you need to go and do a Facebook launch, or you need to get with your sponsor and decide what type of messages you're going to send out with your party link. But if you're not launching your business, people aren't going to take you seriously. And if you're only posting 2 times on social media that you just joined Cincy, you're not doing enough. And I'm not saying that to be ugly. I'm saying that because Facebook knows, like, they hide your stuff. You may post something and nobody see it. I know that I can't be the only one that has posted something and you get like no likes, right? And most of the time it's because it's the algorithm and Facebook just didn't like what you were doing. Something else that you guys need to realize is that when you actually post a like website link, like your website link in your actual post, Facebook hides it a lot of times because they think that you're trying to like sell things, which technically you are. But I always tell my people, the link is in the comments, or PM me and I'll send you a link or whatever. Why? Because I want to have personal contact with them. I don't want to say, oh, here's my link, go order, because then you're taking it and leaving it on them. And what if their kids start screaming or whatever and they forget the time's lost and they may not go back, right? But if you are having that conversation with them, you're able to build connection, you're able to build relationships, you are able to put in the order for them and make sure it goes under your party link. You're able to save them shipping if you have a local order. So just know that that is the biggest thing that you can do in the beginning, is try your best to hit shooting star. Okay. And then I have, if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's just Chastity Robinson, whatever, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm sure your director has sent you some new consultant information. If they haven't, feel free to email me. If you're not getting the training from your sponsor that you need, please email me. Now, I don't want you to go be a tattletale. Like, I'm not saying, oh, tattle, but if you have been touching base with your sponsor and you've been asking questions and you just don't feel like you're getting support, please let me or your director know so that we can see kind of what's going on, because that's not the culture that we have here. We don't sponsor people and then leave them high and dry. We train our people to be successful, and we train our people the right way. So just make sure that if you are getting emails, check your email, click on those links, play around with it. I know someone told me today one of the links on my team page isn't working, and I actually need to go back and fix that and make sure that it is fixed now. But just know that everything that you could possibly need is on your workstation, on your team page, or on YouTube. So make sure that if you need to know something, that you go and train yourself. You go and try and find that information. So after you have hit shooting star, your next goal needs to be getting that first things first checklist and moving on to certified. Once you hit certified, that means you are going to get a 5% pay raise and you get 25% for life. Okay. A lot of people don't realize this. If you sell 2,000 PRV in 1 month, you get a 5% bonus, which guarantees you a $600 paycheck without any team members, no team bonuses. So I always strive for 2,000 PRV or more every single month, because if you don't, you're leaving money on the table. And I mean, I don't want to leave money on the table. So that is why I strive for 2,000 every month. If you just joined and you're thinking, oh my gosh, 2,000 is so much, it is. It takes work, but you can do it. I meet people every single day that have never heard of Scentsy, all the time. So just make sure that you are doing that, okay? The training that your sponsor is sending you, do it. Do it. Make sure that you go and check off the things, because guess what? Your sponsor, your director, everybody else can look on their end and see if you've done your first things first checklist. So if you joined a month ago and it still says incomplete and you didn't hit shooting star, and it's okay if you don't hit shooting star, but we need to start off from the front with big goals. And then you've never sold anything, but you haven't done your training, like, we can't really help you. And so you just need to make sure that you're ready to put in the work on your end. For new consultants, there's tons of questions. So definitely just go through your consultant hand guide, go through the YouTube channel. I have a new consultant boot camp, which is 5 short videos that I ask my people to go through. And at the end of that video, it literally tells them, please send your sponsor your goals or send a picture of this. So just make sure that you're going through and doing that. I also have a playlist of 12 new consultant videos. Now, I used to send those to everybody first, but it's really information overload. So I want you to do the 5-day boot camp first. And then as you like slow down a little bit, go through those 12 new consultant videos. There's lots of information in there. They're there for you forever, for you to go and watch. My YouTube is just my name, Chastity Robinson. If you type it in, you can subscribe and you'll get a notification about everything that I do. Also, we just finished up a Guide to Growth program, and that program, y'all, is everything. And I'm not saying that just because I led it. I'm saying that because we redid a previous program like we were a brand new consultant. So if you are struggling, I'm just going to tell y'all, play those training videos while you're folding laundry, while you're riding in the car. Like, that is how I found out a lot of information. Was not that my sponsor didn't train me, because she did. She's amazing. But if I wanted to find things out, that's where I went. So I would definitely, you have so many resources. Just use them. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything as a new consultant specifically? I have a few things that I was going to just like mention. But feel free to ask any questions if you're a new consultant or whatever you want to ask down there in the chat box, and then we're going to move on from the new consultant stuff. Shipping is something that you need to educate yourself on with Scentsy. So normally Scentsy will ship out items within 10 business days, but the news tab has updated us, letting us know that may take a little bit longer. So I always suggest to don't tell your customers it's going to be here in a week, because that's just not true. I mean, and as long as you're upfront with your customers, they're going to understand. Everybody, even Amazon's taken a week to get here. So like, they're going to be okay, but you have to communicate that with them. Okay. Make sure you know what the shipping cost is. Make sure that you're not telling your customers that it's free shipping, because you have to get to a $500 party first. Another question for new consultants, and this is something that I feel like I need to write down, like I need to put somewhere. A lot of times new consultants will reach out to people and they will have been previous Scentsy customers, and so they like a scent that's no longer with us. Let me tell you the trick, or what I suggest you do if someone asks you for that scent and we don't have it. So first thing I do, I Google that scent, okay? And then I take note of whatever notes are in it. Okay, so let's say it's lavender, freesia, and something else, like whatever it is. Then I go to my website and I type in each of those different fragrance notes individually, so at one time, and I write down those scents, and then I can give suggestions from that. You can also ask on your team page. Some people will be able to suggest something that's similar. But the one thing I'm going to say about Scentsy is there's no scent that is literally the exact same. And so the biggest thing that I always suggest is to just try and give them some suggestions in the scent family that they like. Ask them things that they hate. Ask them things that they really like. And just do your best to make them happy. I mean, that's all that you can do when they're asking for a scent that's no longer available. When you first start, please don't go spend a whole bunch of money. Don't spend any money. The things that you get in your kit are what you need. Just because you see other superstar directors and stuff going and spending a lot of money and making all of these extravagant samples, etc., like, you don't have to go and do that. You just joined. You joined to make money, not spend money. Use what's in your kit. Go buy some bead bags from Walmart for $1. Use the labels that came in your kit, or get some labels from Walmart, from the dollar store. The dollar store has labels. And just put that stuff on with your name. Tell them what scent it is, but don't ever let anything out of your hands without a way for them to contact you. Okay? Yes, and Angelica said what Orville always said. You spend Scentsy money on family, not family money on Scentsy. So you should not be taken from your family budget to go and buy things to give to customers. The reason why we're able to sample, the reason why we're able to send some freebies out for people that buy a lot of stuff is because we host our own parties. We're always hosting our own parties. I'm not using my host rewards to buy things for myself. I'm using that host rewards to spend on my customers, not out of my pocket. I don't buy anything full price out of my pocket to give to anybody. Like, that's just not smart. And that's where people will say, well, I was spending more money than I was making. Well, you were doing something wrong, because you don't have to do that. Like, you don't. You get a bar, like, you get that warmer, like, showcase what you have. Your sponsor, if they're near you, they can let you borrow things. Like, just use what you have. Okay. People understand that you just started. You don't need to give everything away. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Yes. And so Alyssa is talking about her friend was hosting a party and now she's hosting one for herself. Guys, like, something else that I want you guys to realize, I don't ever go and put in an order to where I'm not going to be gaining rewards. Because if somebody is going to have to pay shipping, you should never go and put it in as an individual order on your workstation. You should open up a party and place that order on your website in that party, so you're gaining rewards. Like, it kills me when someone orders off my website and it doesn't go into a party, because it feels like it's like wasted, because you want it to go towards earning rewards. Okay. So Ashley asked about the Perpetual party reward. So guys, I had a director who didn't know about the Perpetual party reward. I was very confused. Like, mind blown. That is a lot of half off that they've been wasting. Like, I don't even know what they were doing. So that's on a whole nother story. But the Perpetual party reward, that is it's on your workstation on a separate page. So let me actually screen share with you guys here in a second, and I will show you so that you know. Not only do you know, like, so that Perpetual party reward is basically like a secret half off that you have every single time you're ready to close a party. Okay. So I will, okay, so let's talk about that Perpetual party reward. This is a secret, I guess you would say, a secret half off. So you guys, Anna Watson, can you see my screen? Can you just give me a thumbs up? Okay, perfect. So every time you have a party, you are going to have this Perpetual party reward. It's right here. So once you have a qualifying party, you're going to see that this right here pops up. And what's cool about this is you can choose who to give it to. Okay. So let's say this party wasn't for me, it was for somebody else. I could add myself as a guest and give that Perpetual party reward for me. So what I do with these Perpetual party rewards is I do 6-cent circles. Then I'm paying $7.50. It's a business write-off, and then I'm able to give those to customers. But this is what I'm going to do for this customer or this party host. This party host is obviously a different person. She's hosting a party for me. And what I am going to do, she has 1/2 off and 33 and free, right? So she's going to use that however she wants. And then my gift to her is I'm going to buy something for her with the Perpetual party reward. So that may be a 6-pack of bars. And so then I'm going to put this in as a six-pack of bars, and it'll go under here. But like, let's say for instance, I'm going to add myself. So I'm going to add consultant as a guest. So you can use this Perpetual party reward for anything. I use this as an incentive to my host. So if I say host a $500 party, you're going to get a free mini warmer from me. I'm not paying $20 for it. I'm going to assign that Perpetual party reward to me and type it in. So I could type in like this, and I'm only paying $10 for it. Okay. So that's one way that you're able to take care of your customers, right? So I don't tell them, like, Cincy doesn't advertise that to people. This is something that is special for us because we're a host. Okay. Does that make sense? Type any questions you have in the chat box. Yes. So also, this is something that Jen said, that she uses it for light bulbs. Guys, if you have a half off, but you don't have money to spend, I understand that. I understand that. I get it. But please buy some bulbs for $2.50. Like, you've got $2.50. Just don't go through Starbucks like once and you've got 3 $2.50s. Like 3 times you had that perpetual party reward, right? So even if you don't have the money to spend, get some bulbs. And let me tell you that if you are brand new, I suggest, hold on, I'm so thirsty. If you are brand new, I do always keep bulbs on hand at home because nobody wants to wait a week for their bulbs to come in. So as you close parties, you can get you some bulbs for half off, or you can buy them up front. Obviously, my people are going to pay for them anyway, but I just keep those bulbs on hand so that when someone's bulb goes out, I'm like, I got you. And then I just order it for me to replace, if that makes sense. Something else just popped up that I was going to say, but I forgot. Purple bulbs are coming back in the fall catalog. I tried to order one and I couldn't even order one. So customers wanted one too. Anybody have any other questions about that? Perpetual party reward, half offs. Study the hostess rewards chart. Know that when you hit 500, your free goes up to 15% instead of 10. So if you're closing a party and it's at $498 and you add a bulb, that is going to significantly increase your free product credit. So I always, always, always try and get my party host to shoot for 500. You never want to like set a goal so small, because if you set a goal at 200, then they may not really push themselves. And I mean, you know your people, you know if you can say 500 and that's going to make them shut down, or if that's going to make them work really hard. But don't close a party at $498. Find something to push it over, because that you're going to be making that back. I don't even know what the math is, but it goes up a lot. So, yes, perfect point. Anna Watson said, asking them for their wish list helps, so you can tell them how big the party needs to be. It will push them. That's exactly what I did with my last Facebook party. I had her send me a wish list. I said, girl, if you can get to 550, you can get every bit of this free and you're still going to have half offs. Homegirl got to 780 because I told her she would have all the things. And so just make sure that you utilize that to your advantage. Yes, definitely. With the 500, you know, you're getting free shipping. So that's something that I entice them as well. I'm not going to go over too much about all of like that stuff, because literally every bit of that was in Guide to Growth. There's a whole week that's on PRV and partying and stuff like that. So definitely this is kind of like a overview type thing. I had 2 questions that I asked some of my leaders about. Someone said, or someone was asking, when do you stop sampling to customers? So guys, there are going to be people. Okay, Jen, thank you. There are going to be people that want samples from you over and over and over and over and over, and then they're not going to buy. Stop sending them samples. If I send somebody 3 scent of the months, like 3 in a row, and they haven't bought anything, I'm not going to keep sending them any samples, because that's my money going out the window. And there's going to be people that are just going to like go and get samples from everybody to see who is just going to give them the most stuff. And that's not being mean, it's being smart. So like someone said, or someone was asking, like, when do I stop sampling? If they haven't bought from me after sending them 3 samples, I'm just going to stop, because chances are usually the scent of the month is pretty good about being like variations of different types of scents. Of course, not everybody's going to love Buzzworthy. I hated it, but I had people that really, really loved it. And so maybe nobody bought Buzzworthy when I mailed it out this month, but hopefully this next scent that comes up is going to be better for them. So yeah, so I only do samples to people that have ordered in the last 3 months. When I first started out, I would send samples to people that hadn't bought from me yet, but that was when I was trying to build my customer base. I will say this, don't go and spend a ton of money sending out samples to people that aren't your customers, because there's going to be people that just want to take and take and take. And don't ever give out a sample or send out a sample without all of their contact information. That is one of my biggest mistakes as a new consultant, is that I didn't really like see the point in filling out their name, their address, their phone number, well, their name, yeah, but I didn't feel the need to fill out their address, their phone number, and their email. Guys, you need all of that. Email marketing is just such an untapped thing with Scentsy right now. And I mean, an email is free. You can send an email from your workstation to anybody who you have their email at any time. And so you don't want to just be giving things away without a way to contact them, because they're not waking up every single day thinking about Scentsy. And if they are, they need to join your team, right? So Jen said, thank you, Jen. Jen wanted me to clarify that the Perpetual party is different from the regular half off. So yes, so what I mean, what a Perpetual party is every single $200 party that you have, every time it hits 200, or every time that party hits 200, you get that Perpetual party, because that's for you as the consultant to use as you wish, either to use to spoil your customers, to give to your party hosts, whatever. You don't get more than one. It's just one Perpetual party reward every single time you close a party. And if you don't have the money to like give them a free nightlight, tell them you're going to give them an additional half off. They don't need to know that from the get-go. They don't need to know that. You don't have to tell them all of that. Don't do that. So Allison Wright said, I need to buy some bars so I can give out more samples. Don't you buy anything full price. You host your own party. You use one of your free or half offs to get bars, and that's what you use to make samples. And Emily also said, don't be mailing catalogs to all the people. No, not everybody's getting a catalog, because that's expensive to mail. And if they're not spending money with me, I'm not spending all that money mailing them out, because when you mail out a catalog, it's usually $1 about. I mean, I usually put some more stuff in it, but a catalog is going to cost more than one stamp. So don't be passing out catalogs making it rain. You can pass out product lists, make it rain product lists with your name and stuff on them. But my people aren't just getting catalogs. Now, if they want to come by and grab one, then they can come by and grab one for the most part, if there's somebody that's spending money with me. Yes, Sharice, thank you. So the catalog was actually like not on our website for a while. Why? I don't know. But like today, they updated it. So there is a new interactive catalog on our website, or on your website. So go to your website, not mine, not a link you find like anywhere else. Send them your link with the catalog on your website. Okay. And they can search through that, because let's be real, guys, shopping online is way different than looking at it in catalog form. I know for me, I like to look at things in catalog form because it's styled different. Another tip for new consultants, when someone wants to see a warmer, our catalogs and stuff, I mean, they're great, but they do not do our stuff justice. So Google it, guys. Google that Scentsy warmer. Go find a real life image. Type it in on Facebook. This is what I've also learned. When I'm on the computer, I can type in like twinkle warmer in the search bar, and I can filter it by photos. And your girl be saving all the people's photos that are styled well. Same thing with like minifans. I needed some minifan pictures. I typed it into Facebook, and I went and saved those pictures, and I save them to an album. So that's not being like crazy. That's being smart. I know for me, I buy things that like look way better styled, than just in the catalog. So hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, Jen. And then at the bottom, it has the thing for real life pictures. You can also search the hashtag Scentsy Snapshot. I think that's what it's called. Scentsy Snapshot on Instagram. And you can find photos there too. Obviously, if somebody has their name all over it, don't post that one. But yeah, so Pinterest is really, really good. The only thing I want to say about Pinterest, though, guys, is the flyers that are sometimes on Pinterest can be old. So you really need to check if you're getting a flyer from Pinterest, because it may have like an old scent or an old warmer or old prices. So just double check when you do that. Now, I know for me in my team page, it's kind of hard to find now with the way that some of the way Facebook has changed stuff, but I have groups that are recommended by the admins, and you can join those groups, and they have, there's a couple flyers groups in there. Now, in saying that, flyers are not the way to go. People don't want to just shop flyers, but there is a time and place. Obviously, people need a flyer for scent descriptions and stuff like that, but flyers are not going to be what's going to catch people's attention. There's a good mix. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about that? I feel like I've talked about a lot of new consultant stuff. Anybody? So the biggest thing I just want you guys to know if you're new is just, it's okay to not know everything. It's never too soon to sponsor. You can learn together. And that's something I really wish that I had done, is I wish I had found a friend to join with me at the exact same time so we could figure it out together and bounce ideas off of each other. And I just think that that is something that is so invaluable. So Allison said, you mentioned always putting an order into a party. How long should these parties last then to make sure they get their orders quickly? Okay, so let me explain the difference between that. So for me, if somebody is going to pay shipping already, like they don't live here, they need it right away or whatever, that's what I mean by going on my website and purchasing it from myself through a party. Because what happens is the card is charged right away and it starts shipping right away. So if it goes through on your website, it doesn't wait. I know that there are some other direct sales companies that like nothing gets charged or processed until the party completely closes. Now, that is true if you're putting it in on your workstation. If you're putting it in as a party in your workstation, you can't charge cards and get it processed until you are ready to completely close it out. And someone said, how long should these parties last? There's really not a time frame, but this is a suggestion. This is something that I've done since the very beginning. I open up a party link on the first of the month, and I usually just name it online orders. And that is what I send every single person that's not local. That's what I want them to order through. Why? Because I'm going to leave it open all month. I'm going to gain all of those rewards at the end of the month. Then I'm going to have a free shipping order going in, right? And then I'm going to have all of those host rewards that I get to use to take care of my customers. Okay. And as you like grow and as you get more customers, you can do that multiple times throughout the month, or you could just leave one open throughout the end. But as you grow your customer base, you're going to be able to close parties more frequently. I usually don't leave anything open longer than 2 weeks, besides like my catch-all party that is in the beginning of the month. And so if your people are wanting it right away, the best thing that they can do is pay shipping and you order it through your website. I hope that answers your question. The whole reason why I say, no, Allison, if you buy online through your website, like if I go right now and buy something online, like through my website, it's going to charge and start shipping right away. But like putting it into your workstation, nothing's going to happen until you charge the cards and close it, if that makes sense. But only for those orders that you're putting in on the back end. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining that right. Any of my other directors that are on here, if you have a way that is going to explain it better, feel free to unmute yourself. But like Cherise said, you don't want to hold local orders. No, you don't want to hold them. But if somebody's already paying shipping, like regardless, don't go and put in an order on your workstation as an individual order because you're not gaining any reward. So that's like wasteful. Okay. Someone asked about a team page, so I'm going to get to that in a minute. Does anybody else have any questions?
Chastity, what would you do like for the new people, like booking parties off of parties, or like how you do that via like Facebook, things like that?
Okay, so booking parties off of parties, guys. This is what I would do. I would look at the party games that are like, there's a library of party games in the workstation that you can kind of read through and kind of get a vibe of to see kind of what your people are into. And the biggest thing that I have found with booking parties off of parties is getting my current host involved, giving my current host an incentive for getting her people to book a party. Because when you think about it, guys, she's the one that has the relationship with them, right? Most of the time. So if you can get her involved and get her to help like book a party and say how easy it is and say, okay, well, so when we close this order, or when you this is what I would do. So for instance, I'm having a party with Lindsay. So if Lindsay gets someone to book a party off of hers, when I close her friend's party, I'm going to give her some type of prize. And that can be anything that you have on hand. It can be like, they don't care. It's free. So like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. That's one thing that I've done. I hope that that kind of answers your question, but the biggest thing is getting your host involved. Think of games. So a lot of people have done like the dice game where they have like a board and you roll a dice, and whichever number they get, if they book their party, they get that item for free or half off or whatever. Yeah, so Jen said offer their perpetual party reward if someone books, offer an extra half off. Like, the biggest thing is you want to get whoever it is excited, and your host really needs to see that it's going to be exciting. So if your people really like mystery, like that's what Jen just said, like a booking bag. So if you're doing an online Facebook party, I could literally have like 3 little bags back here, and I'm like, if you book a party, you get whatever's in this bag for free. They don't know what it is, and some people that's really enticing. So for me, I like to know what I'm getting. So you really just kind of have to know your people and understand what they like. Yes, Anna, absolutely. Unmute yourself.
And the only reason why I know this, what we're talking about, kind of what to gift the host if somebody books. Brittany Hunt actually reached out and she asked me this. She actually had a post or somebody point this out to her in our catalog. Underneath the hostess rewards, it says, did we mention you get another half price product when your guest has their own Scentsy party and you attend? So these people are seeing that too, so that you can kind of do that as well.
Yes. So I actually, when I was rereading my consultant hand guide, because guys, I go and reread it as well when the catalog switches, because they always kind of add stuff in there. And I was like, wow, like Scentsy really didn't train us like saying that that's what the perpetual party reward was for. But I think that when Scentsy first started, that was their intention. Like, you're perpetually hosting parties, so that extra half off is perpetually going to the next person, if that makes sense. Emily, unmute yourself. Y'all don't have to, like, directors, unmute yourself and talk over me, please. I'm so tired of talking.
No, I just didn't want to interrupt you, but I just did a online party 2 weeks ago that was amazing. She would have certified, but I could not get her to join. But what I did is she had some PWS orders on her party. So immediately I'm sending her them a thank you, a scent circle, and samples, whatever you want to send them. But in there I've created like just little image that's that talks about booking your own party and the half off. So it's like, book your party before it closes and you'll get something from me. And it's usually the Perpetual or whatever, because I have parties open all the time. So it may not be Crystal's Perpetual party reward, but it could be mine. And then before I closed out her party on her Facebook group, I created an image that had Crystal on there, and it says, Crystal earned 4 half offs, $145 and free and half off. Book your easy peasy online party with me. And then I had people messaging me, and I've got parties lined up for June because May was too soon because of shipping delays. Their stuff just got here today. So I want them to fall in love with their stuff, and their parties will be in June. Because of that image, I told them everything she earned. And then also on that image is, if she would have joined my Sended family, her commission would have been this. And that gets people excited because honestly, they invite the people to the party and I do all the work. So who doesn't want to get 140 plus free when I'm posting on your, your group?
That is, and you know what? I kind of like went away from that, honestly, just because when I got lazy. I had a little flyer thing that, like, on my little thank yous, it says, your host got $43 in free and 2 half offs, blah, blah, blah. And like, you can put that on somebody's stuff, and that's exactly what, yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and Candace said that she went live. Was somebody about to talk? Chrissy said,
Oh, I was,
yeah, go ahead. You're like, it says raising your hand. I don't really know what that means.
I learned that from school, like teaching my kids. You could do
We're not
that.
allowed to use Zoom.
Didn't know.
We have to use Google Meet.
But, what was I gonna say now? Crap. Oh, PWS orders. It kind of goes with what you were saying earlier about those. I like to say those orders process when the card processes. So if they order online, the card is processed and then it is processed in the warehouse. If they order through the party, then that order will not be processed until the party closes, because that's when the cards are processed. You mentioned that earlier. So, but then I was trying to figure out like a way to say it different, but with the Facebook parties, the last 2 that I've done this month were with people who want to host to join, and I created it as a group so that I could schedule all the posts and everything. But then after the party is technically over, then they can still keep that group and they can use it as their customer page.
Yes, I love
and those
that.
people are already there. So it's like you're doing your event, but then you've already got another thing like out of the way. Like they've already got that started up. So that was just something that I just started like this month. And
same. Yeah.
So.
Thank you. I love that. So hopefully that answers y'all's question about like the card and the shipping and all that. That makes it a really good point. So someone said, if you were a new consultant and you don't have anything to give away or whatever, I literally will say you get an extra half off and they pay for it. Or whenever you close the party, you can buy something super cheap. But like I said, don't spend your own money when you first start. Offer them the extra half off. They're already hosting a party. So offer it to them. You don't have to spend your own money. So Alyssa, she said that you're not allowed to offer free gifts and stuff in the live videos in parties and groups. Let me just say this, and I know this is going on YouTube, so compliance, hey. If it's private, it's private. If you're not in a public group, I mean, people that aren't in Cincy don't know that you're not supposed to do that. And I'm not saying go and break the rules. I'm not saying that, compliance, Chuck, anybody. But what I'm saying is, if that is your private party, Like, it's going to be fine. Now, I will say, as a new consultant, you do need to read up on the compliance things. You do need to make sure that you know that what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say. The biggest thing with Scentsy is anything that is not a Scentsy price or something that any Scentsy consultant can give away, then you're not allowed to post it publicly. So I can't say any order, I can't say freebie Friday. Anybody that orders today is getting a full-size product. I can't say that like out loud to the world. I can text my people that. I can email my people that. I can do that. So like, just make sure that whatever communication that you're doing like that is private. Okay. And guys, there's been a lot of like things going on lately with compliance and people turning people in. Don't be petty Betty. Go to that person. If they're doing something and it's not like, you know that it's out of compliance or you think it's out of compliance, message them, email them, be like, hey girl, did you know that you're not supposed to do that? Like, you're not supposed to offer free shipping. Like, I promise you, number one, some people don't know because they didn't read their standards, and it's not okay, but some people don't know, but there's no reason to go turn somebody in and be crazy when you literally could just send them a message and be like, hey, just so you know, we're not allowed to offer free shipping publicly. You can say host a party and you can qualify for free shipping. Like, it will be okay. So, and if you are told that by somebody, don't be nasty. Like, they're probably trying to help you, because it doesn't, even me as an SSD, when I get turned in, it still makes me mad. Even though I know, like, that's when you made it. When you start getting turned into compliance all the time, that's when you know you made it. Like, trust me, everybody's watching everything you do because they're just going to turn you in over stupid stuff, over your mailbox. Like, Jesus, take the wheel, get a life. My mailbox is really not hurting you. But, like, just know your things, okay? Yeah, no, totally. Cindy said it's rude to turn people in. Exactly. Like, just be an adult and have a conversation with people. And I mean, if somebody's doing something crazy, then I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, so yes, just like Jen said, talk to somebody about it. If anybody else doesn't have any other like newbie questions, that's kind of all I had for this kind of stuff. Just because we had so many newbies join, I wanted to go ahead and kind of talk about that stuff. So if you are brand new, you can get off if you choose. I want to ask anybody who is lead or above to just stay on for just a few minutes, and we're going to chat some like leadership things. If you are not yet a lead consultant, but you have sponsored, absolutely feel free to stay on. And I'm not kicking anybody off by any means. If you want to stay on and listen, you can absolutely stay on and listen. But this next little bit, I'm just going to chat a little bit like with my directors and with my leaders, and just kind of like talk about a few things that have been going on. So if you don't have any more questions and you're leaving, I love you. I hope you have a great night and slam the rest of May. Go do all of the things. Okay. All right. So leads and above, for those of you who are still with me, you are so welcome, and you guys just utilize all the things. Leads and above are people that have sponsored and have not maybe hit lead, but you are looking to promote, etc. here soon. So I saw a question earlier about creating a team page. So this is something that has been sort of a really big topic of discussion over the last couple of weeks between my directors and myself and lots of other leaders. And there's lots and lots of different opinions, and previously we have always said, as soon as you're a star consultant, start a team page. And I want to say that I've sort of retracted that, only because sometimes when people hit star consultant, they don't really have a ton of team members. They may only have 5 team members, right? And so that is sort of putting some extra pressure on a STAR consultant to keep a team page up and running when they don't really know exactly what they should be posting in that team page, and they feel like they're just going to be reposting the things that their director is posting, and so it feels redundant, or they post something on their team page and nobody responds, and they feel like less than because they'll respond to something their director posts. And so I've kind of taken a new stance on it here recently, and I really do not feel like anybody needs to, like, for sure set up a team page until you are a superstar consultant. And I'm going to put that title on it just because at a superstar consultant, you should be leading your team pretty hard. You should have at least 10 to 15 people ish. And that's when you really want to start setting up your leadership style. Now, the reason why I sort of switched from that is because you don't want to overwhelm people, and then people don't know where to go to for their information. So something that I have suggested to my people is setting up like a group message or a group chat, whether that's on Facebook Messenger, or they have apps called GroupMe. I used that for a little while. Because you don't want to just let the team page go and train your people, because that's not what we do. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But you really want to build relationships. So my suggestion to people now is to set up a group message where you can be their leader if you have more than one person. And that way you can say you're not like working so hard. So like for tonight, for instance, if you wanted to send a reminder text to all your people that we had a team meeting, instead of having to go and do it individually, you can say it in the group. Hey, I hope to see you guys on. Plus, that also gives them more of a community for them to like talk back and forth. You can, and you have the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. And you can, if you're a STAR consultant or you're coming up on STAR consultant, I would definitely suggest talking with your director about it. See what your director feels is going to be good for you, because you want to do what's going to be best for you. But for me, from doing this for as long as I have, I've really taken a step back from pushing stars to do that. What I would say is if you are a lead consultant or above, it is very, very important for you to be building relationships with your frontline and your downline. Because if you do want to be a director, eventually you are going to be the only not the only person, but you are going to be their leader. You're going to be that director on their team page if that's your goal. So you want to build a relationship with them from the beginning, and you want them to trust you, because if they don't trust you, they're not going to listen to you. And if the only thing that you've ever done is tag them on some team page posts, they're not going to trust you, because that's not personal and that's not training them. So definitely just realize that you're in control of that, and you want to do something that isn't going to be overwhelming to other people when they're getting 5,000 notifications, but you also don't want to just have a team page because you feel like you should, if that makes sense. Does anybody have any other suggestions or questions, please feel free to like unmute yourself and chat with me or whatever. This is an open space. But what I would really suggest is creating some type of group message. If you don't like group messages on your phone, trust me, I understand. Like earlier today, I had my phone away from me for like 45 minutes, and I came back to 245 text messages because I'm in some group chats. So I get it. If you don't want to use just text, I totally get it. There are plenty of apps out there that you guys can use. A lot of people use Marco Polo. I haven't used Marco Polo in a really long time. So I would definitely just like look into something that's you, because you want to create that culture. Anybody else?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know this, and I started a group page.
You don't have
But
to feel, go ahead.
but the thing is, they're not in my state. They're like in another Oklahoma. So I was sending them pictures and stuff. So I just like have a picture album and stuff like that. I mean, I tell them to go to your page first, but just for communication, because I can't get the two of them at the same time. So I've been dropping messages through that group page.
Yeah.
Because my new person signed somebody else. So, and you know, when they're not here in the state, it seemed to be the best way for them to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever is going to work for you. I just know in the past we've like super stressed Star Consultant, get your own team page, and I'm just not at that point. So if that's working for you to train them that way and to help them that way, absolutely stick with it. Stick with it.
Yeah, it is odd because you only have 2 people on it, but you know, when they're not nearby and you know they want to swing by, I already told them what pages to look for. I didn't override them with too many because it can be crazy.
Yeah.
But definitely told them to look your page first, and then our communication should be through that group.
Well, and that's perfect. If that's working for you and like you have that page and that's like y'all's space, that's perfectly fine. I think that what happened was like we were telling stars to like create their own team page and they were like getting overwhelmed thinking that they needed to like post the same content or whatever. So you do whatever works for you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. And so someone said Remind and Band. I've actually heard of Band. I haven't used it. Marco Polo is sort of like a fun one where you like send videos kind of back and forth. So you guys just need to decide what works for you. And then Anna, I almost called her Victoria again. You can make them an admin on your page. Yeah. So they can approve posts and approve team members, maybe give them more of a leadership type role. Yeah, so we use Class Dojo, but Remind would be something that would work too. So just find a way that you can communicate with them that works for you, but just remember that tagging them is not the way to train them. So a question I had earlier, and I know that I sent out emails this week and I told you guys that attachments were in there. Well, clearly they didn't attach and I don't know why. The workstation was being crazy. So how to manage training new people, especially when you get multiple new people at a time. I always say work harder, not smarter. I mean, you know what I mean. Work smarter, not harder. So think of a way, if you guys are all in the same time zone, if you can do a Zoom like this, where you can walk them through things, do that. If you can FaceTime them, if you're not local, do that. But what I don't want you to do is lose yourself in training your team members. So if you go to my Google Drive, which is in the pinned post of my team page, it's in the description of like a lot of my YouTubes. If you go to Guide to Growth, you're going to see tons and tons of files in the description boxes there. I use a new consultant checklist, which I have right here in my planner. So every time someone joins, I write their name down. I write down what kit they joined under. Because that's important to know right now, especially with the $20 kit. I don't know what Jesus is laughing at, but I'm going to cut him through that screen. Because if they got the $20 kit, they didn't get the product training guide. I know Jen and Cindy and Anna are probably having a group text right now, and I am mad at y'all. Anyways. But at the top of my checklist, and this is for all of you guys to see, if this doesn't work for you, change it up. But what I have is little touch points. Have they done their first things first checklist? Have they read their consultant hand guide? Have they went through boot camp? Okay. If they haven't gone and done those things, like I'm not going to go and get on the phone with them because they need to go and do their part. If they don't know how to set up a party order in their workstation, That's because they haven't gone and done the things that Cincy has told them to do. All of these YouTube videos and all of these things that I've created are extra. Guys, when I first joined Cincy, none of those videos were even in the workstation like that. And so they've got to utilize the things that are there. And it's your job to be their person to help them, but it's not your job to work their business for them, if that makes sense. And I see some leaders commenting on here about your business first. Absolutely. You always need to work your business first. Because if you don't know, if you stop working your personal business because you're only worried about your team, then your personal business is going to die. Now, in months like this, where you're sponsoring people on the first of the month and you've got to book all the parties and you got to do all the stuff, you just need to find a balance. And I'll be honest, like, it's hard. Leadership is hard. Balancing it is hard. But I mean, do 2 things for your business and then try and train your newbies or whatever. But just go onto my Google Doc or into my Google Drive and look at the touch points that I have. Obviously, it's not super in detail because I'm not going to write every single thing down that I'm going to say. But if they haven't like logged into their workstation, hello, you can't do it for them. If they haven't like, it's just, it drives me crazy when people aren't even watching the videos or even reading the emails or going through those things, because honestly, guys, Cincy sends them everything. As a new consultant, they are getting email after email from Cincy. It's set up on like a automated system. And if you want to know exactly what new people are getting, which I think is very, very important, type in new consultant in your workstation and there is a PDF file of the checklist. There's a PDF file of all of the emails that they get. You can see all of the different videos. Definitely utilize your workstation. So Unbox Your Starter Kit is on the First Things First checklist. I'm so excited that they put that on there. And so we ask you guys to unbox your kit live because you need to show people that you're excited. People don't ever sleep, and people will message you at 3 a.m. or people will Facebook message you even though you say you don't respond to that, and they'll say, sorry for bothering you, but I'm not going to answer you. Like, if you have to say sorry for bothering you, or I know you don't respond to Facebook Messenger, don't freaking send the message. And I know that that sounds rude, but like, don't be that person. And like, there is no such thing as a Cincy emergency. And you may have a team member that thinks it's a Cincy emergency at midnight on the last day of the month because they can't figure something out because they're not trying. And guys, if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. And I mean, they're just going to have to figure it out. And like I said before, me being a people pleaser, me wanting people to succeed, me wanting to like to help y'all or to help new people, it's the hardest thing I've ever done to not respond, but you have to. Because if you, every time that you say yes to them, to responding to them outside of your business hours or at midnight or at 5:30, you're saying no to sleep. You're saying no to your family. You're saying no to your kids. You're saying no to your personal business. Every time you say yes to someone who is taking from you outside of those things, you're saying no to something for yourself. And I want you guys to remember, as a leader, if you eventually want to be a director, you are going to have so many people on your team that you can't do that. And I want you guys to start from the very beginning, reminding yourself, whatever you do for one, I want you to ask yourself if you can do that for 100. Ask yourself if you can do that for 20. And I mean, 20 is a whole lot of people when they're texting you constantly, or it's midnight on the last day of the month or whatever. Like, just remember, whatever you do for one, you want to be able to do for everybody. And if you set that standard from the beginning, they may be mad at first, But it's not selfish to have boundaries. Businesses have business hours for a reason. Businesses have associates and managers and presidents for a reason. And those things, it's very, very hard. But I want you to be confident in the fact that if you are doing what you are supposed to do, they will figure it out. And something that I've had to do with team members who are constantly blowing you up, because there's going to be people that will blow you up with 6, 7 text messages in a row, freaking out, or texting you really late at night. I won't even respond like the next day. I'll wait 24 hours. Why? Because in 24 hours, that's going to tell you a lot. Either they've sat around waiting for you to answer, or they've went and figured it out themselves. And if they've sat around and waited for you to answer, please don't give them the answer. Tell them where to go find it. We're creating leaders, not leeches. There will be people who will leech onto you forever and ever, amen. They will leech. They will suck you dry, and they will take and take and take, and they won't care because it's not happening to them. They won't understand. Trust me, there's been plenty of people who have been very pissed at me because I don't respond to their 10 o'clock text message. And guess what? I'm still alive, and they didn't die because I didn't answer them. Like, they need to be solution driven and figure it out. Ask on the team page, because there are people that live in Alaska or wherever on the team page that may be up at midnight our time. Ask. Like, you've just got to get confident in your boundaries. And as women, most of us are women besides Jesus over there. It's hard to have those and not feel bad, but it's not selfish to take care of you. Okay. So just make sure you're training your people. If you are only tagging them on the team page, please know that that's not acceptable. Please know that it's not just your director's job to train them. That yes, tagging them on the new consultant post is very important. Tagging them in videos is very important. Tagging them when we have a team meeting is very, very important. But that can't be the only type of training that you do. Touch base with them after you've talked to them. If they were on tonight, text them tomorrow and say, hey, do you have any more questions? What did you get out of it? Like, touch base with them. So Jess, it's not a silly question. A lot of people don't realize that you can do this. I don't know what that weird noise was. I'm so awkward. Go to your reporting tab. Is it reporting or is it performance now? So go to your reporting tab, click Start Leadership Report, and then over on the side where it says Saved Leadership Reports, you can click Sensational Start. And once you click Sensational Start, you can ascend, and it will say either complete or incomplete. And so that will be how they, you can, if it says incomplete, then they haven't finished their checklist. Okay? Yes. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So reporting, my performance, leadership, sensational start. Okay. Okay, so as for other leadership things, always know that you have to have your 500 in. If you don't have your 500 in, you're not getting paid off your team. You're not. So it's the 13th. We need to start front loading for next month. Next month is Bring Back My Bar. Plenty of people are going to want bars. So front load your month. Make sure that you are training your new people to sponsor, and that you are training them to train their newbies, because whatever you teach the people that you personally sponsor, hopefully they are going to be directly teaching the people underneath them. So then it's going to trickle down and trickle down and trickle down and trickle down. Okay. Something that we do on Shine Your Light is coaching calls. I know coaching calls may sound scary if you're like a brand new lead consultant or you've been around for a while and you don't like talking on the phone. I promise you there's nobody in this world that hates talking on the phone as much as I do. My dad will call me and I'll watch my phone ring. Like, I don't talk on the phone, but the growth that I've seen in my business this year since I started coaching calls last March has been astronomical. And I didn't do them for a long time, but this is what we do here. We get on the phone, we coach people, we lead them from the front, we do the things. Because if we're not doing them, we can't expect our teams to do them. If you're a brand new consultant, that's okay. We are gonna, if I am your director, we are about to set up a coaching call because I have eyes on all of you guys and we're gonna start chatting about that. If you have never done coaching calls before, go look up the program AIM on YouTube, AIM. It's by OG Boss Babes channel. And you can start going through that and we can chat some more about coaching calls and leadership and all of that at another time. But I just wanted to give us a little space to kind of chat about all of that because we have had so many like lead consultants promote this past month and again already so far this month. So I'm just so excited to see all of you guys like form into your leadership role. And since all of you guys are on our personal teams, I really, really, really want you guys to help on Leaders in Light and share with us what you're doing as a leader. Share with us what you're recognizing. How are you leading from the front? Recognize those behaviors that you want repeated. And just know that nothing is too little to shout out on your director's team page. If your newbie is active, if your newbie opened their kit live, screenshot it, guys. Like we all work in a world where we're never recognized for anything but negative. And so you really want to make sure that we are spreading light for everyone and we're being the change that we want to see. So anyways, guys, this lasted way longer than what I wanted. Does anybody have any leadership questions or anybody want to say anything? Please feel free to unmute yourself or ask the questions or post in the chat box. Anything y'all want to say or ask?
So I'm just going to ask this in case somebody else has this too. I just got an email from my new girl who was on this call before about the Google Drive stuff. They have to have a Gmail, right, in order to access it? Because she wants me to send it all to her Yahoo, and I can't do that. So they have to have a Gmail in order to access it?
What do you mean send it all?
She wants access to the Google Drive, but she can't get it because she doesn't have a Gmail account.
You have to have a Gmail account for it.
Okay, that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
should
Make a
getting one?
one or whatever, and you don't have to use it for anything else.
That's what I was thinking too. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she'll just have to do that because it's the same thing with, I'm pretty sure YouTube is the same way. That's why my YouTube email is not my Be the Light email because I had to like link it through Gmail. Somebody's knocking on my door. That's never a good thing.
Okay, I wanted to say one thing. Going back to talking about like team pages and like losing yourself, like trying to, be there for your team and constantly pouring into your team. I can remember I joined in 2016 and I promoted so fast to superstar consultant. And I had already created a page as soon as that's like when we were really pushing as a lead star consultant. I remember having a page with like 10 members, and by the time I'd hit in superstar consultant, I was trying so hard to pour into my team that I kind of lost myself in the process. And I remember hitting that slump after that fall incentive, and just because I'd been working so much with everyone underneath me that I wasn't doing the things I needed to do. I wasn't sampling. I wasn't getting in my PRV that I needed to do. I wasn't taking care of my customers. I was losing customers in the process of all this because I poured so much into my team. And it was kind of like I got so overwhelmed trying to do everything so fast. Looking back, I wish I had of just, and this is just me personally, like if totally okay. I wish I hadn't have created my page so early. I wish I had have given myself some time to develop more as a leader and get some systems in place that I felt comfortable with before I tried to implement all of that. Because I feel like I overwhelmed a lot of my team too, because I had all this stuff for them and then they were on this page, and I've seen a lot of my downline. I've seen some great leaders that I had fall completely off because they got so overwhelmed with trying to feel like they needed to do all the things. And yes, you need to be a good leader, but I'm saying like do all the things as in like posting and doing your own trainings when they can get the same type of valuable information on Shine Your Light. And I have a page because I've had it since 2016. I'm not going to, stop it now. And my page is great, but looking back, I may have taken like a different route creating that page just for myself to help my own business and me as a person and as a leader. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And thank you so much for sharing that, because that's exactly like how I feel with like self-reflecting now. Like, even this is something that I have talked to some of my directors about, and I'm going to talk to everybody about it as well. Like, we've also like really pushed, as soon as you hit director, take your team off of Shine Your Light. And some people really wanted to do that, and that's okay. And some people really didn't want to do that. And I think that it needs to be more of a personal choice so that you can feel like you have a strong team before you just like sideswipe them and take them off. Or maybe you hit director and you only have 10 people, right? So it's definitely a fine line. And I love what Blair said about how, well, I don't love that this happened to her, but how she said that she lost herself. And that's what I want you guys to realize, is that Scentsy was a company before Facebook was like a thing. So if Facebook or social media goes away tomorrow, would you still be able to have a relationship with your team? Would you still be able to train them and be effective and have a relationship with them? Because I'll be honest, like, none of us, like directors and superstar directors, we don't have a team page for us. We have a team page for you guys and to help you guys out. And I think that even me, like, I get so, oh my gosh, I've got to schedule my posts. Like, it's going to be okay if I don't have a post that schedules at 7 a.m. Facebook's all crazy right now, and no scheduled posts are even working, and everything's fine. Nobody's died. Information is still getting out there. And I think that that's also something that, for me as a leader, I've had to like slow down. And I know that I wasn't posting like the simple things that I was doing. I'd come in here in my office, I'd leave my phone out of here, I'd do like all the samples and mail outs, and never share with my team that I was doing that. And that's really what a team page needs to be about. Just the simple things that you're still doing to work your business. So please share those things on the team pages, because your people that you sponsor are looking at you as well. And they want to see that. They get tired of seeing it from me because they feel like I'm perfect and have it all together. Even though, if you know me, I'm real awkward and say inappropriate things all the time. But like, they want to hear that stuff. So, you have anything else to add to that, Blair? That was really good. I appreciate you sharing that.
Not really. Pretty much like what you said followed. It's just like, I don't know how to say this, because I can remember going through that time period, and obviously like I got, back at it, but it just, don't like lose your business and yourself because you're trying to do all the things at once. Like, nobody expects you to, promote and be this phenomenal leader. Like, it takes time. I look at like what I'm doing now, and it's so much different than what I was doing 2 years ago. So
Same.
I guess that's pretty much it. I just, don't overwhelm yourself. I've just seen it happen so many times. I've lost really good leaders like on my own team because they got so overwhelmed trying to do all the things. So
yeah. And I mean, the biggest thing that I like take away from what Blair said is like putting systems in place. And that's something that I like created because there wasn't anything that worked for me. So like for me, I have my leadership checklist. So yes, I did voice text some leaders this week and I meant every bit of it. But if I didn't have that written down, I probably wouldn't have gone and done it. Not because I don't care, but because I just get so caught up in everything else that I have to do that I let things like that are important slip by. So if you don't know what I mean by systems, please check out my Google Drive. Systems are just basic like SOPs if you're military or whatever. Like that's just the standard operations of what you do every day or what you need to do for your personal business, for your sponsoring, for your coaching, etc. So your director, your sponsor can definitely work with you and talk with you about putting some systems in place, but start now with systems and don't wait like a lot of us have, because that's when it just gets even harder and then you're so overwhelmed that you just don't even know where to start. So yeah, Cindy said she sticks with the basics because I get overwhelmed, and like for me, if I get overwhelmed, I just shut down and don't do anything. I freeze. Everybody else? Candace said that she's like been Cincy 24/7 and I don't know where to draw the line. That's very much me. I'm like always working. I have to be super, super intentional. Candace, you're never going to be able to please everybody. There's always going to be people that are upset because you're not available all the time. And I just want you to know that it's going to be okay. And trust me, you are going to get, I don't really like upsetting people either, but at this point, I'm like, I'm going to upset you and I just can't let it affect me. And I've gotten a lot tougher, like my skin's gotten a lot tougher. But just know if you're coming at a place with love, like it's going to be okay. And I'm telling you guys, leadership is hard. It's hard. And I mean, that's what I want leaders in light to be. If you have a question about how to handle a situation with a downline, post it. That's what it's there for. You don't have to post their name. I post screenshots on my director page all the time and I'm like, how should I respond to this? I black out their name. Like we're not over there talking crap about you guys. We don't do that. But it's so nice to be able to get other people's perspective. Yeah, absolutely, Ivy. You can unmute yourself if you want, or you can type it in the chat box.
So, my question is in reference to, I know y'all were talking about not doing team pages, but I have 3 right now that just joined, which I'm super stoked, by the way. I'm tickled. But the thing is, nobody has questions. So like, I feel like I'm constantly like checking in every day and I'm like, hey, just checking in on y'all. Hey, if you get a chance, can you do your checklist? Let me know if you got questions. Let's talk about it. Hey, can y'all let me know when you're available so we can do like a FaceTime or whatever. And I even opened a group chat with my sponsor as well. So that way when I'm working, because I work 3 other jobs, she's available if I can't answer, at that moment. But I feel like nobody's asking any questions. So I'm not really sure, or it's like they don't utilize the group chat. So they'll come straight to me and ask me something. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, well, give me a second. Let me get back to you. And then it's like, I keep trying to put myself out there to tell them like, hey, I'm available. Do y'all have questions? Like, how can I help you if you're not helping me type deal? You know what I mean? But a lot of them, I think, have this mindset that I don't know where they got it, but they signed up because they thought that they were going to get some kind of discount. So that's their mindset. And I'm like, there's no discount. So I don't know if they just have given up, or since they found out they don't get a discount, they just don't want to, or where do you kind of see if they're not willing to put in the effort that you're not going to put the effort in? So that way I'm not burning myself out. And then again, like, y'all were saying, I kind of didn't push to get my own PRV for the month. And it's kind of like, dang, we're already halfway through and I could have already been at 500, but I've been worried about y'all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a question that so many people encounter. So number one, you are not the only one. And that's one thing that we've really just tried to like preach. Always worry about your personal business first. So don't let your team hold you back from that. So make sure that you are continuing to do that. Now, when it comes to saying like a discount, no, we don't get a discount, but they get paid back on their purchases. So it's basically the same thing. I mean, I know that it's not necessarily a discount up front, but they're getting paid back. So that is, I mean, a discount. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one way to phrase it. And then as for team members that are either not responsive or not doing the training or something like that, I'm going to say this, like if you are pouring into them and they are not doing the training or they're not responding or whatever, I mean, like you can't make them work, and nothing that you say or do is ever going to change that, because motivation is intrinsic. You can't make somebody wake up and want to go get money. Like you just can't. And so don't continue to waste your time if they're not going to do anything. So if you followed up a couple times and they're just not really responding, you just say, okay, well, you just let me know if you have any questions. And then I would follow up maybe a week or so later. And then she said that she'll work when she has time. So, I mean, you just have to let it be, you know, like not everybody's going to wake up and be motivated right away. Hey, Jesus, do you have something to say? Okay. But yeah, I mean, you can't want it enough for them. I have people that join on the $99 kit that never sell a dime, that never do anything. I don't understand it. And it can be really, really frustrating when someone joins and you're really excited for them and they don't do anything, but you can't own that. You can't, don't take that on your own. I'm so excited.
Hey, so I'm Jesus, Amanda's husband.
He's been dying. I'm sorry.
No, so really to
Is this
piggyback
Amanda's
on what
husband?
you said, yeah, so piggyback on what you said, you have to be honest. You can hit your group up, say, hey, what do you guys really want out of this?
Yes.
Because some of them, just like you said, may be like, well, I want to get my own rewards. I want to get my half-offs. They may not see the potential of this business growing for them, and that's fine. You can let that soak in. They'll come back to them and be like, hey, what do you think now? Hey, how do you like the business? It'll grow on them, and they'll be like, man, maybe I do want to get a little bit more into it, grow a team, and see where it comes from. So there's a possibility where they, at the beginning, just may see the small rewards that they could reap, but other than that, they may not see the full potential growth. So, but just be honest with them, find out. It's okay to ask somebody and be like, okay, you don't want to like become my next director. They're still a team member. So small sense. Just
yes. Thank you, Jesus, because that's definitely something I haven't said. And that's really, really important. You have to know why somebody wants to join and what they want out of it. Because if they do only want to be a hobbyist and they want to buy from themselves and sell 200 every 4 months, that's okay. And you're going to need those people, and you don't want to pressure them into wanting something more than what they want, or they're just going to quit. And then they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth, and then they're not going to buy Scentsy at all. And you don't want that for them. So that's a really good point. Thank you, Jesus. And I definitely would suggest all of you guys asking your team members, like, what do you want? Do you want this to blossom into something? Do you want $100 a month? Do you just want to buy from yourself? So thank you. Yay. Yeah. And you know what? That's something else I want to talk about really quick, and I promise I'm going to get off. The dip. So Blair said about how she like burnt out, or she like lost herself. Guys, that is what makes the difference in a leader in this business, because everybody is going to go through the dip. Everybody. And if they say that they don't, or they never have, it just hasn't hit them yet. And I'm not saying that to like put an omen out on you, but eventually you may hit a point where you're just low, you've kind of lost your joy, You're not really doing the things that you're doing the things that you feel like you have to do, but you're not doing the things that make you happy. And it feels like work. And it's just really hard to explain, but all of us have went through it. And those of us that are still here, it's because we pushed through and found what made us happy again. And we stopped worrying about what everybody else was doing. We got back to the basics. Like Anna always does this training for me. I'm gonna have her do it like 3 times a year about being a Scentsy basic. And it's so good because I think that so many people, like, they start out on fire. Most people start out on fire, and then they sort of fizzle out because they get burnout or because they have a bad month and they let it get to them. And that's where you find your leaders, because they're either going to like come back up and pull themselves out of it, or they're going to stay in that dip and be mediocre or just quit. And your dip may last a year, your dip may last 3 months. Like, you don't, like, everybody is going to go through that. So if that's you, or if you have been there, ask yourself what made you join, what gives you joy, and go back to doing that. Stop doing the things that don't make you happy. Because I'm going to tell you, if I have to do things that don't make me happy, I'm just going to find a way to avoid it. And then you're not going to want to do anything. So just know that if you are going through the dip, you can get yourself out of it. You just have to want to do that. Your sponsor can't want it enough for you. I can't want it enough for you. You've just got to find a way to put your big girl panties on and decide what's going to make you happy. Anybody else? And I think that it's really important that you guys share about your dip. So if any of you guys want to do a post on Leaders in Light, like, please do a post or do a live. Like, that is y'all's space. And I think that it's very important for you guys to be vulnerable and for you to share that, because you can change someone's life. You can do a post that's going to empower somebody to pull themselves out of that. And you have the power to empower these women and these men. And I think that too many people hide behind the dip and they don't share that they went through it and pulled themselves out of it.
I'm going to try to make this really fast because I know everybody's like on edge, but not on edge, but you know what I mean? Like, getting tired. And I will say something else about the dip too, because I've been through 2 dips. You know, my first dip is because I was trying to do all the things. I promoted really fast and I just got super overwhelmed. But sometimes, like, things happen that are completely out of your control. And I can promise you, when those things happen, it can cause a dip. Like, my house burnt down last May. I was pregnant. I was teaching. I literally in the last year have gone from like owning a house, being pregnant, being a teacher and a coach, to now I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm building a house. I have a child. All of those things, like, we lost our house, and then 3 months later I delivered a baby. So I went through this like period where I was so overwhelmed with everything that had happened in life. And then I had to like figure out how to be a mom. And it caused a lot of anxiety. It caused a lot of overwhelming feelings in my business. I couldn't respond to people. I couldn't get out and get PRV. It was like I was just stuck, and I would see everybody else just pushing, and I've never been a quitter in anything. And I was like, basically just, you have to decide, like, are you going to pull yourself out of this and continue with this business that's been so good to me, or are you just going to give up? And that's what I'll say about that dip is, like, I feel like just now, a year later, I feel like I'm finally like coming up for air and I can finally breathe again. I feel so much better, like, being a first-time mom, and we're almost done building our house. I feel like, okay, now I've got a fresh start. Like, I can put this entire year. It's been awful. Like, this year has been just the anxiety, the overwhelming, the not being able to sleep at night because you think your house is going to burn down. But I think you just have to decide, like, for yourself, like, remember what Scentsy has done for you and what it can do for you, and just don't be a quitter. Like, you get one chance to live this life and do all the things, and this is for you. This isn't for anybody else. This what one thing that my husband likes about Scentsy is, this is for me. This makes me feel good about myself. This is how I've met my best friends. You know, this is how I bring in extra money to pay for my car payment and anything that Logan needs. You know, it's for you. Don't give up on that. Because I can promise you, like, I have been at my very lowest this last year, and I just, if I can pull myself out of that, I feel like anybody can pull themselves out of any kind of little small dip that they're going through. I like to say a lot of people go through a 3-month slump when they first join. I've noticed with my leaders that after 3 months, they kind of like, oh, I'm not really getting the results that everybody else is getting. It takes time, you know. Just keep that in mind, that dips will happen, and sometimes you can't control when those dips are going to happen. And yeah, so I just wanted to get that out there because I feel like I've been through the Scentsy side of trying to be all the things, and the Blair side of life hit me in the face. So
Yeah. And I appreciate you so much for sharing that. I just can't even I can't even deal, and that's what we want. I want you guys to know that we're going to be here for you regardless. And if you're going through something, that's when you need to reach out. And like, literally, I'll never forget this. The morning that I found out that Blair's house burned down, she literally called me and was like, can you please watch out for my team page? My house just burned down. And I was like, what? What? Your house burned down? What? Can I post on your team page? I'm not worried about your team page. What are you talking about? She's like, Chastity, like, we lost everything. And I'm like immediately bursting into tears. And I'm like, can you please shut up about your team page and let me know that you're okay? And I mean, just know that we've got you and we're in your corner, and nobody's ever going to judge you for needing to take a minute. And that's what we're here for. And just like what Blair said, like, she couldn't have said it any better. Like, pull yourself out if this is what you really want and do it for you. All right, y'all. So I'm going to get off on that note. I love y'all. I'm going to pray for y'all and pray over y'all's businesses. And I just appreciate all of you guys so super much. And I will see you guys later. Good night.